All right, here's a question. What happens in your family or business if you spend money you don't have or borrow money you can't afford to pay back? Well, maybe something gets repossessed, or your home goes into foreclosure, or your paycheck gets garnished, or you could even be arrested and charged with a crime. But what happens when Congress spends money it doesn't have or borrows money that it can't afford to pay back? They get reelected. That's what happens. Now, shouldn't they live by the same rules you have to live by? Trust me, they will never do it voluntarily. Now, 49 of the 50 states have a law that forces them to balance their budgets. Vermont is the only state that doesn't. Well, at least they don't have to by law, but they do it anyway out of the common sense to manage things prudently. All the years that I was a governor, we balanced the budget. Oh yeah, we did it because it was the right thing to do. But we also did it because it was the law. And frankly, I wasn't about to go to jail because the legislators had an incurable case of spending diarrhea. Just wasn't going to do it. Right now, I'm on the board of a national organization that's seeking to get a majority of state legislatures to call for a constitutional convention to propose a balanced budget amendment. If it's ratified, the federal government would have to do what your family or your business has to do: live within its means. Now, for those who are fearful of amending the Constitution, it wouldn't be the first time, and I don't know if you realize this, but most of the amendments, I think you would agree, have made our country better, whether it was giving women the right to vote, guaranteeing due process, presumption of innocence, or private property rights. It's not an easy pathway to get a balanced budget amendment, but important things rarely are easy. But I'm convinced that Congress will never impose spending limits upon itself. So it's time to invite them to stop spending our grandchildren's money and robbing piggy banks all across America just so they can promise free stuff to get votes and using other people's money to do it. By the way, recently, Republican Senator Mitch McConnell cynically observed that no one ever lost an election for spending money. And sadly, he was right. But people would lose more than an election if they actually would go to jail for not balancing the federal budget. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to quit believing that Congress will voluntarily curb spending any more than it is to believe that a 4-year-old will pick asparagus over ice cream. I say it is time for the balanced budget amendment. And by the way, if you disagree, then will you pay more to the government in taxes to help them pay for all that free stuff they're buying on credit? I bet not. That's my view.